As 2022 is wrapping up, Ants From Up There is still my favorite album of the year, which it has been since its release. Before this project, I was not aware of who Black Country New Road were, so this was my first ever time listening to them. I didn't know what to expect. I heard the album was good, so I just kind of went into it blindly. And what I heard absolutely blew me away. And to be honest, the moment I heard it, I knew this project was special and that it's going to be my album of the year. It's proving as timeless for me. This project is a masterpiece, and in this video I'm going to break down why I think that. I will break down everything from the sound, the aesthetic of this album, to the powerful concept and lyrics of this album. I'm gonna go track by track and break down everything, what I love about these songs, the meaning of these songs, how they sound, etc. Just everything. So without further ado, let's get into it. The intro, it's only 54 seconds and it does enough. It lets you know somewhat the tone and the feel of the album. I love the instrumentation, not only on the intro, but throughout this whole project. It sounds very grand, but also feels like home in a way. If I had to describe it with a color, it would be wooden, kind of like the color displayed on the album cover. But yeah, pretty good intro for what it's meant to be. Nothing too much, it's decent. On Chaos Space Marine, we see the introduction of the band's frontman, Isaac. He gives off a powerful performance, bringing in unique vocals which I honestly love. The calm delivery he has on the first verse works very well. On the chorus, he lets more of his voice come out, but it still sounds like he's just speaking. And that's something that I noticed throughout this album. I love the feeling that creates and how it sounds. It's very mellow, but it can be very powerful at times. The instrumentation of the song is wonderful. There are no electronic instruments used. It is all live instrumentation with melodies that create build-up throughout the song. Of course, with the help of the drums, which are pretty prevalent. This sort of build-up can be spotted throughout the whole album. There are plenty of crescendos that just blow up and make everything explode. And it's probably the best element of the album for me. On the bridge, he will say a line and then the instrumental switches to just the saxophone with a very simple drum pattern. It keeps switching back and forth with every line he says.
Few inches later.
It creates the build-up for the outro, and the lyrics here are on point, with the album being about escapism and a few hints at a relationship. More specifically, escapism from a bad relationship. There is a mention of Concord, the plane, which we will get into later as we get into the next track. But all around, a very good track and definitely introduces the album well. Concord, a 6-minute track that completely carries out its length. This is where we really see the band experiment with crescendos. The song starts off pretty calm, again with these talk-like vocals by Isaac up until the chorus. We hear drums be more impactful here. Some saxophone is used to add to the sheer amount of sound on this album, but it still feels relatively calm. The outro is really the breakdown of the song, and it kind of encaptures what the album is about. Even though you think it's going to stop, it just feels like it keeps going and going. Every time you think you're at the crescendo, nope, you're wrong. It keeps getting more and more intense while not sounding busy. Everything is so clear and crisp. And we can see the saxophone already having a pretty big role in the album. I would say that is an instrument that takes up the most space. And here we get introduced to the metaphor for Concord from this song. Isaac on the chorus does something beautiful. He compares the person he likes to the plane, Concord. That he would, like a gentle hill racer, run to the top of the mountain just to get peaks of them, get peaks of the Concord. It also means that he wants to reach it, but he just can't. He can never be with that person. Realistically, the hill racer is just a little dot from the perspective of the Concord. It means nothing to it. Once Isaac has seen Concord and it's flown away, he's just sad, suffering, attached to something he can't reach. Beautiful lyricism on a beautiful sounding song. Bread Song is a song with a lot of metaphors to bread. I mean, given the name, you would assume it would be like that, you know? It is the calmest song yet, with even the main breakdown of the song being pretty calm but feeling impactful, with the drums very present on this song, yet not sounding heavy. From this track, we gather that it is a long-distance relationship that Isaac is talking about. The meaning of bread or breadcrumbs in bed in this song is his partner not wanting to be intimate, which is pointed out by the lyrics, "This place is not for any man, nor particles of bread," which is really, really harsh. The song is Isaac just begging for his partner to show affection to him. He offers to help her, asking for intimacy from her. It is a really heavy song emotionally, with some great ideas being displayed. It shows off that Isaac is hungry, he's starving for affection. But the person that he's with, even though he loves her so much, he just doesn't get that attention from her. He doesn't get intimate, he doesn't get affectionate with her, and that's mostly because of her. As I said, the song is pretty calm, and it lets the lyrics really do their thing, which I feel like is the right choice. This song has a very interesting song structure, with the chorus being repeated twice in the end, the second time being way more intense and aggressive. Probably the most emotion and power from Isaac's vocals we have seen yet. Okay, not on the whole album, just yet. There's also backup vocals here on the pre-chorus by other band members, which sound great and accompany Isaac well. And maybe the harshest sounding song yet with the choruses, but I like it a lot. In terms of the content on this song, it's more affirmation that Isaac is very dependent on this woman that he's talking about, and he doesn't want his relationship to end at all. He knows it's bad, this can't keep going like this, but he does not want this relationship to end. He wants to keep it intact for as long as possible. He cannot live without her. He's imagining what their future would be like.
But in my mind, we summer in France with our genius daughters now, and you teach me to play the piano.
However, yet again, we get more context on the long distance part of the relationship. What used to be a physical and real life relationship is now online. That's pointed out by his lyrics that she moved to Berlin for a little while. It seems like she has moved on, but Isaac needs affection and attention from her. It's depressive and painful to listen to, honestly. Extreme vulnerability from Isaac, and it's very tough to see, honestly, like it's tough to listen to. But if you can stomach it and really go into detail and pay attention to the sound of the song and just everything that's going on in your ears while listening to this, because it really is incredible, then I feel like it would really hit you emotionally and you can enjoy it even more. Halder might be the most powerful song yet. There is so much build up to this song, starting off very simple, and we see the strings being an instrument in front here. The whole track is so well tuned and mixed, and the sound is really full yet distinct and clear. The drop of the song is beautiful, the drums get louder and the song is about to explode. The crash cymbal right before it drops makes it clear that it's about to drop, and it drops and it brings this beautiful, sprinkly sounding piano melody that stops and starts back again during this part. The outro of the song is just a piano and some strings getting more intense, but it's not how you would expect the track to end, and it sounds really nice. It is definitely a highlight sound-wise from this album. The build-up is just way too much, and it feels amazing once it finally comes in and it develops and it sounds so full. The lyrics just further strengthen the previous points made by Isaac, how this girl has helped him, how much he needs her, how hard he tries to keep the relationship going, and so on. Not the most important song lyrics-wise by any means, but it adds to the concept as well as just sounding beautiful. This is a little bit of a left turn from the concept of the project. However, knowing what it's about, it's pretty heart-wrenching. I don't really want to spend too much time covering this, it's pretty sad, but it's about the uncle of Lewis Evans, the guy who plays the saxophone for the band, who had passed away in 2021. The track is played on the saxophone, which he got the day that he found out his uncle passed away. It's just an instrumental, there's not much to talk about here. It's a little interlude that I think sounds nice, and it prepares us for what is to come next. The place where he inserted the blade. I would say probably my second favorite song from this album, or even my favorite. Look, it's really tight, it's really close about which one is my favorite, I don't really know. Sound-wise, it is just incredible. It's the longest song yet, although it's not the longest song on the album, it still does even more than just filling out its length. It does more than that, okay? It's very warm sounding, and Isaac with his lyrics paints an image which just adds to the image that the track has already painted. The chorus is one of my favorite moments of this album. It is so strong emotionally, with Isaac's vocals, with the lyrics, the instrumental itself sounding beautifully bright, almost like a daydream, but yet it also sounds like someone descending in a madness. I don't know how this project can manage to do so many things at once while also sounding so clear. The main melody here is really what makes it great, and in general the saxophone on this album really gives it its sound and makes it what it is. Isaac talks about his partner being a bit more socially anxious and possibly being the reason as to why she doesn't want to show affection or intimacy towards him. He's trying to comfort her throughout the song, but also can't help but ask for comfort himself, vividly painting images of them living together and Isaac needing her for help on the chorus. Still talking about how he knows this is bad for both of them, but he can't leave. He needs this woman in his life. Every time I try to make lunch for anyone else in my head, I end up dreaming of you and you come to me. That is amazing. That is just incredible. Just a very touching, powerful, great sounding song, very visual track. And I would have to say it is one of the best songs to come out in 2022 and of this decade. I mean, bro, on the chorus, he's able to deliver such a powerful message while also pretty much talking about a cooking tutorial, trying to follow a YouTube cooking tutorial. Are you serious? And he doesn't make any of this sound corny or cringy. It's just so smooth. Snow Globes, one of the most powerful songs on this record yet. Yes, I know I've used that word a lot, powerful, but that is the word to describe this album. The drums on Snow Globes are the fastest and most extreme we have seen yet because of the way that they are mixed. But I think it works as it creates this feeling like avalanches of snow, big rolls of snow rolling down and bombarding you, hitting you. The melody itself is pretty simple. It's a guitar with a bit of saxophone. It's 9 minutes long, but I think it carries out its length well. The lyrical content here is very tough to make clear, but it is for sure different than what the rest of the project has been about. There are a lot of theories, but what seems to be likely for me is that Isaac is scared of a higher power, in the way that it is controlling everything that happens in our day-to-day life. It is controlling Isaac's life. He realistically has no control over it. He's scared of that happening. And to be honest, the thought of it is pretty scary. The idea of something we're completely unaware of having such power over us. The lines on the chorus, God of weather, Henry knows, snow globes don't shake on their own, mean to me that Isaac knows something is making stuff happen, and it wouldn't make sense for something to happen on its own. I really like this theory, and it's a realization on the album, a pretty scary one. The outro, Basketball Shoes. It is the longest song on the album, but due to it having 3 segments, it stays entertaining throughout. Many people consider it to be the best song on the album, and I can see why. I understand and even partly agree with it. It features really a hair-raising moment on the third part, the biggest crescendo and breakdown on the whole album, and one of the most intense moments of music I have ever heard. All the instruments combine into this one big thing, which up to this point has been really separated and distinct, but now I feel like there's so much happening, it eventually just melts into itself, but it's so well textured, it sounds amazing. The song keeps developing. Whenever you think you've hit the peak and it can't get any more intense or loud as it is at this point, Isaac just starts getting louder, screaming pretty much, and the instrumental gets more and more intense. It feels like a payoff. You've stuck for 11 minutes to hear this, and it makes it all worth it. Look, I would even go out to say I could get absolutely cooked for this, but it is one of the greatest performances by anyone I've seen on a song, that being Isaac. Every time I listen to this, I'm amazed at how good it is, and I'm amazed at how Isaac handles this absolute like fucking beast of a song. Lyrically, this track points to the fact that the relationship is now over. Isaac will try to focus on bettering himself, getting the girl out of his head, and erasing the memories they had together. More mentions of the clamp happen in the second part, saying how it tortures him. No matter how hard he tries to be him, it feels like something unnatural, supernatural in fact, that's holding him back and making him suffer. The last part is quite well memed in the fanbase, as it really just appears to be about a wet dream about Charlie XCX. But as funny as that is, and as much as I would like to believe it, the actual meaning of the third part is Isaac referring to Concord, his partner, as Charlie. He is begging to forget, maybe even begging the clamp he mentions to let him forget all the memories and everything he did with this person. Yes, realistically, it could just have a whole nother meaning, but I think the bedsheets being wet is him crying. Charlie, his Concord, he prays to forget of her. And I don't think we see a clear conclusion to the story of this project. It sounds like Isaac descending into madness, trying everything to convince himself that he can detach himself from her, that he can move on, but at the end accepting he can't, begging and praying for the clamp to loosen and allow Isaac to move on with his life. How well textured this sounds and how Isaac is able to convey his thoughts and struggles on here is really a sight to see. It's hit me like nothing before. Music has rarely ever hit me this hard. But I think this is the peak. This is an album that will have me thinking about it 5, 10, 20 years into the future, revisiting it just to hear those crescendos executed by the band members and the insanely powerful and thought-provoking performance by Isaac. It is also an album that is very personal to me, which adds to the enjoyment of it, and that is why this project for me is what music is. It's what it's meant to be. This is a prime example of music connecting with me and impacting me. So if I had to rate this album, I'm going to give it a 10. Yep, that is the first time I've ever done that on this channel, but if an album deserves it, it's definitely this. So yeah, that is gonna be it for this video. If you guys liked the album, tell me why. If you didn't, also tell me why. I'm looking to hear your guys' opinions. I also made a ranking of each song, so make sure you check that out if you want to. I will continue to do more of these video essay type of videos, reviews, and other music related content, so please make sure you subscribe and like the video as well. That will help so much to me, as it'll help push my video and my channel into the YouTube algorithm. But yeah, I guess I'll see you guys next time. Peace.